There you go.
You missed the minion behind my house. You diving too early.
Oh, yeah.
Yaakov, you're allowed to light a yard side candle on Yom Tov?
Go to mommy.
Yeah, the best way to do it though is to light it.
A 2-day Yom Tov, right?
The best way to do it is to light it in a room that's dark.
But what about doing a 2-day light candle? Whatever. The
What
2-day
happened?
one.
A 2-day light candle? Yeah. That's fine.
So, Yaakov, could I have a bonfire on Yom Tov?
Why not?
Just making sure. Do I have to cook something in it or no?
No.
I don't have to cook it.
As long as you don't use a match, as long as you light it from an existing
Right, I just have
light.
to bring a fire. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I don't have to cook. Okay.
Hey, we're actually going to discuss it right now, so let's get rolling, yeah?
What's that? Yaakov, does a 2-day candle work?
Why not?
I don't know. I'm asking. If I light a 2-day candle today, am I allowed to use it to light my grill and use that as a yard side candle and everything else involved?
100%.
I thought you can't multi-use a candle.
That's only on Yom Kippur.
Very good, Landau. Very good.
No. I know.
After
I'm not
years.
saying for Shabbos. I was saying for the yard site Shabbos.
Yeah, I'm saying only candle you can't use for anything else is the Ner Shel Shabbos.
All right. The mute Nazi is here.
Okay. Okay, ready? So we're going to start with the 2 dots.
Oh, can I ask a super fast question?
Yeah.
I do not eat machine matzah because my Rosh Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael said never to have machine matzah. This year, am I allowed to have machine matzah or no?
What?
This year we're makel with so many things. Is that one
You
of
want
them?
to be Michael? You could be Michael with it. Yeah.
This year in particular.
This year.
Okay.
Really, really every year. All right.
Do you eat machine
Matzah
matzah?
Yom Tov or no?
I don't eat machine matzah. What'd you say?
Matzah Yom Tov.
What about it?
Can we discuss it now?
Oh, yeah, discuss it now. What's the story with Matzah Yom Tov?
Do we want to have sheer Matzah Yom Tov or no? Is that a yes?
What's the question?
To sheer Matzah Yom Tov.
I don't think we have a choice.
Yeah, let's just do it later. Maybe a little later after everyone cleans up.
So what time, Tiago? 10 o'clock? Is that enough time to get rid of everything?
Maybe a little later. Maybe like 10:30.
1 second.
10:30
is better. We don't have to help put the stuff away. That's all.
Yeah. You know my wife? She's going to be throwing things.
Yeah, the stuff will be away before we have Dullah.
What's going on with this plasma donations? I'm getting texted like crazy now. Well, not like crazy, but a couple of texts. What? That
If
this
someone's
psak
already
that if you
had it, they want plasma from people that have the antibodies against it.
so they're being matter. You go on Yom Tov. I got people going on Yom Tov.
Yeah, there was a psak that you can go out of Yom Tov. You didn't see it?
Who's psak?
No, somebody just sent it to me.
That what? You can go weird.
That you can go if you find out that you have the plasma from the test that you took and they need it, you can go to the hospital and donate your plasma.
Who gave the psak? I'm just curious.
I think we saw Rising.
Okay.
One of my doctors swears that it worked on him. He had double pneumonia. They rushed him to the hospital and they gave him plasma.
Who was that, Dr. Wen?
Yeah.
A nurse I know told me it's the only thing that they're doing in our hospital that's actually helping people.
Parents, maybe plan to restart the recording.
Okay, I'll deal with this plasma thing soon. Okay, let's go. Yeah?
Marchuk must have been taking a shower already. He's not fetching yet.
I didn't take a shower yet, so
I am relaxed. Tie is on and everything.
But that shower.
Wow, look at you.
Listen, taking a shower on Yom Tov. Taking a shower on Yom Tov is mamish kesugi. What we're supposed to get to right now. If I shut off the hot water on my tank right before Shabbos, I'll shower a whole night. But we'll hopefully get to that in a minute. But okay, yeah, that was just a tease to get you to pay attention. Anyways, the learning that we're doing now, it should be a schus. It's a big thing to learn before Yom Tov. It should be a schus for everybody that needs a full shalemas, and we should hear Yeshua's bekarev.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right? So you're not allowed to, we said you're not allowed to take an egg and hide it in the sand in order for it to be, in order for it to cook. Then right, and we had, that was the second case of the Mishnah. First case of the Mishnah is that you're allowed to take an egg and put it against an urn, or take an egg and crack it and put it on a piece of clothing outside and cook the egg that way. So Rabbi Yosi though agrees that you're not allowed to put it into the sand, right? But let Rabbi Yosi disagree with putting it in the sand. Why does Rabbi Yosi say that you're not allowed to do? Rabbah he's afraid that if you're going to put an egg in the sand, then that's not much different than taking an egg and putting it in coals, which you're not allowed to do, because that's going to make the coals either get lit or get extinguished. If you're going to allow somebody to put an egg into dirt, so then you're digging a hole on Yom Tif, which is muksa, right? At least it's either it's digging a hole or that you're going to move the dirt, right? And Rashi says it's digging a hole, so that's why he says you're not allowed to. My binayu, what's the difference between the two answers? You can offer tichuach. If it's very soft sand, so then that's not really assur to dig a hole, because it's not really, it's very loose. Fine. So you're allowed to heat up an egg on a roof that's boiling, right? A roof has tar. It gets very hot, so you're allowed to cook an egg. But you're not allowed to cook an egg on top of sid. How do you say sid? Lime? Right? Lime? So it's good according to the one that says the answer is that the reason why Rabbi Yosi holds you're not allowed to put an egg in dirt is because you might end up putting it in coals like a lemigzar, so there's no gezerah on a roof. That the only reason that you're not allowed to put an egg in dirt is because you're going to move the dirt or dig a hole. Ligzar stam gag. Ligzar, why don't you make a gezerah that you're not allowed to do it on the roof either? So the Gemara answers, and I don't understand the Gemara's having the question, right? The Gemara is asking, don't allow him to cook an egg on a roof because you might move dirt. So the Gemara answers, stam gag, let's play offer. Most roofs have no dirt on them, so why would you make a gezerah that you can't do it with the roof? Right? That you can't cook an egg on a roof. Of course you can. It's not an issue. There's no dirt there, so what would be the problem? Okay, but that's what the Gemara says. Tashma. Right, that's the end of the Mishnah. The people from Tveria took pipes of cold water and ran it through the Chamei Tveria, and that heated up the water. So it's good according to the one that says that the reason why you're not allowed to cook an egg in the dirt is because you might use coals, the damilat tamanas, and that's similar to insulating, which you're not allowed to do. But according to the one that says that the reason why Rabbi Yosi says you can't cook an egg in dirt is because you're going to be moving dirt and digging a hole. What's wrong with the guys from Tveria? What did they do wrong? Right? There's no dirt. You're putting it through water. So the Gemara answers, who says the story of the Tveria is going on the case of putting it in dirt? It's going on the first case in the Mishnah, which is lo yafkienu b'sidarim, that you're not allowed to crack an egg on clothing that's hot from the sun. Rav Yosi Matan, Rav Yosi says is mutter. V'hachi kamri l'Rabbanan Rav Yosi, and Rabbanan tell Rav Yosi, Hi Ma'aseh Anshe Tveria, they told us Chamahu. They want to bring a proof from the people from Tveria that it's a told of the Chama v'asur l'Rabbanan. When the Rabbanan said it's assur, right? So they're bringing a proof from Tveria. So Amalahu, who told us, or who no Tveria? You can't bring a raya that they were allowed to put the pipe of cold water through the Chamei Tveria, because that was different. Because that's considered a tolda of fire, which we learned yesterday. You're not allowed to cook anything with a tolda of fire. That's otherwise you'd be able to put a pot gets hot from fire, right? You obviously can't cook in a pot that gets hot from fire, even if the pot is no longer touching the fire, because that's very similar to cooking with fire. So he's saying that Chamei Tveria, you can't bring a proof that they let them put it through the Chamei Tveria because Chamei Tveria is considered fire. Why? The gehinnom. The reason why the Chamei Tveria get hot is because it passes by the opening of gehinnom. I have no idea what that means, right? But basically gehinnom is fire, and therefore it's actually getting heated up from fire, and that's why that's a tolda of or, right? That's why they said it's assur. Okay, Amar of Chisda. Mimaisa sha'asu anshe Tveria, from the story that the anshe Tveria did, and the Rabbanan told the Anshe Tveria that they're not allowed to run this pipe of cold water through hot. So therefore we see from there that you're not allowed to insulate with something that adds on heat, even from Friday. For example, let's say today was Friday, and I wanted to make sure my food stays hot, right? So what I want to do, I have a soup, let's say, on top of the stove, right? And I take a heated blanket. I take it off the stove because I don't want to leave my stove on. I'm too cheap to pay the gas. So I take a heated blanket, I plug it in and I wrap it around the soup. That's called insulating with something that will add heat. From the story of Tiberius, you will see you're not allowed to do that, even though everything's being done before Shabbos. What should be the problem? The Chachamim made a gezerah that it's assur. That's what they told the Anshe Tiberius, that you're not allowed to do it. The only way to do a soup would be to wrap it in a regular blanket, which is insulating with something that's not adding heat. It's just maintaining heat. That's okay before Shabbos, right? So that's what we learned from the story of the Anshe Tiberius, that you're not allowed to do hatmana of anything cold and something that's going to add heat. That's why the pipe that had cold water, if you put it into the Chamei Tiberius, it's going to add heat. So we see from that story that you're not allowed to. So Amar Ula, third line down, halacha k'anshe Tiberius. The halacha is like the Anshe Tiberius, and not like our Mishnah who said that the Anshe Tiberius made a mistake. No, it's too late. The people of Torah already took down their whole pipe contraption. So therefore clearly they went with the Rabbanan's psak, and therefore it's assur. Fine. Okay. Right. So what did they answer them? So they said that the Anshe Tiberius said if you heat up the water, so if it's on Shabbos, it's like water that got heated up on Shabbos, and if it's Yom Tov, it's like water that got heated up before Yom Tov. Right. That's what they told them. My rechitza. So what does it mean washing? If we're referring to washing the whole body, are you trying to infer that only hot water that got heated up on Shabbos itself is assur, but the chametz that got heated up on Erev Shabbos is mutter to wash him? Meaning, as long as I heat up are you trying to infer? And as long as the water gets heated up before Shabbos, I can take a shower with it on Shabbos? Right? We learned in a brisa that you have hot water before Shabbos, right? Let's say you have your hot water tank, you heated up the water, and then you shut off the hot water tank. So the next day on Shabbos, you can wash your hands, your feet, and your face, but like kol gufa, but you cannot wash your whole body. Only your hands, feet, and face. So clearly, we're not referring to that, right? Aim a sefer, so then let's say the sefer. If it's on Yom Tif, then it's like hot water that got heated up on Yom Tif. You're not allowed to wash with it, right? If it got heated up on Yom Tif, you're not allowed to use it for a shower. Hence, taking hot showers on Yom Tif is assur, right? But you are allowed to heat up hot water in order to drink. If that's the case, then does our Mishnah mean like Beishamai? A person cannot heat up hot water for his feet on Yom Tif unless the hot water could potentially be used for drinking, right? Because Beishamai holds, we don't say hoyel, right? So we just say it has to be heated up for drinking, and if you heat it up for drinking, then you can use it for your feet. The Beis Hillel says it's mutter, right? As long as you are allowed to heat up water to cook, you're also allowed to heat up water to drink, right? So we're talking about washing your whole body. And it's going according to this Tana, the Tanya, a person, there's a three-way Machlokes here now. You're not allowed to wash your whole body, whether with hot water, whether with cold water. That's what Rameir says. Reb Shimon Matur, Reb Shimon says you're allowed to wash your body with hot water and with cold water. Unfortunately, we don't paskin like Reb Shimon. He goes in the middle. Bechamin assur, with hot water you're not allowed, but tzainin mutter, with cold water you are allowed to wash. So Amar Rav Chisda Machlokes the kli. That's all the Machlokes is doing it in an actual bathtub, let's say al bakarka. But if you're doing it in the ground, divrei hakol mutter, everybody holds it's mutter. So there's an obvious kasha right on that. But ma'aseh d'Anshe Tiberius bakarka hava v'asru l'Rabbanon. The Anshe Tiberius, that was in the ground, and the Rabbanon said it's assur. Ella, Itmar, Hachi Itmar must be the opposite. Machlokes bekarka, the whole Machlokes where you're allowed to bathe is in the ground. The kli divrei hakol assur, but in a kli everybody holds it's assur, which is what we hold, which is why we don't take hot showers on Yom Tif, even with water cooled off before. Amar Rav Chanan Rabbi Yochanan, halacha k'Rabbi Yehuda, halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, who's the middle. Amar Rabbi Yosef beferish Shmuel, miklal Shmuel. Did you hear this openly that we said that the psak is like Rabbi Yehuda, or did you just hear this from a rule? My klala, Damar of Tancham, Amar Yochanan, Amar Riyaneh, what would be the rule? right? So Amar Rav, if you have two Tanoim or Amorim having Machlokes, right? And then one Machriya, one compromises, meaning one holds in the middle. Halacha Kedivri Machriya. The halacha is like the one who goes in the middle. Chutz Mikule Matlonius, which we had a few blot ago, 10 to be exact, except for the kulos of the, remember, it was Tum and Tara Gemara. We're taking Shmata and using it for things that it's not really normally meant to be. Shabbos Pisha Rebbe Lezer Machmer Rebbe Shua Meikov Rebbe Kiva Machriya. Even though Rebbe Lezer there was Machmer that it does become Tameh, and Rebbe Shua is Meikel and says it doesn't become Tameh. Rebbe Kiva Machriya, and Rebbe Kiva says it depends what you're using it for. And halacha Kedivre Machriya. There the halacha is not like the Machriya, like the one in the middle. Chadid Rebbe Kiva Talmudu. One, because Rebbe Kiva was a Talmud of the other two, even though he's Machriya, but he's a Talmud. Rebbe Kiva was Chayzer and he agreed with Rebbe Shua, which the Gemara says over there. Fine. Let's say you did learn out from a rule. Who cares? If we pass on like that, we pass on like that. So the Gemara says, maybe that's all by a Mishnah. But by a Brisa, we don't say this. Okay, so Amalei, I know Beferish Shmieli, I heard it Beferish. Okay? Fine. Now we go back to Itmar. Now we get into the real sugya here of the showering on Yom Tov. If you have hot water that gets heated up on Erev Shabbos, the next day you're allowed to wash your whole body, but it has to be piece by piece, meaning you can't wash your whole body at once. Again, this is hot water that got heated up from before Shabbos, right? Shmuel, you're only allowed to wash your hands, feet, and face with hot water. And that's it. Meisvei. So we ask the kasha chamach on Shabbos. The Brisa says if you have hot water that can heat up before Shabbos, you're allowed to wash your hands, feet, and face. But you're not allowed to wash your whole body. To Yufta the Rav, it's a kasha on Rav who said you could wash the whole body as long as you do it, limb by limb. What it doesn't mean the whole body. You can't that you could wash your whole body like a shower. It just means you can do limb by limb. Oh, but it says it says hands, feet, and face. It says hands, feet, and face. What it means is like the hands, feet, and face, meaning you wash limb by limb, but not the whole body at once. Fine. So that's one kasha. Tashma, another kasha. If they did not allow you to wash with hot water, heat up on Shabbos, only hands, feet, and face. Right? And Rav said you could do the whole body ever. It means similar to the hands, feet, and face. Fine. Okay, Tani Kava say the Shmuel, so now we have a Brisa like Shmuel.
So why do you want to unplug your, what is it, what do you want to unplug?
1 second, we'll get to it, yeah? Tani, I'll hope we'll get to it. Tani Kava say the Shmuel. We learned like Shmuel, hot water that can heat up in Erev Shabbos, but Machar, the next day, you're allowed to wash your hands, feet, and face. But not your whole body. Ever. Not your whole body, limb by limb. And that goes without saying, the same din would be of chamin that got actually heated up on Yom Tov. Rabbah masni lo lashmai to the Rabbah high lishna. Rabbah had a different version. It said chamin shukum b'erev Shabbos l'mochar amar Rav roichas ven kol gufay u'mashayer ever echad. If it got heated up, hot water heated up from erev Shabbos, the next day you can wash your whole body and you leave out one ever. Fine. So esvei kol hani to yufta. So we have a kasha. All these brises are a kasha to Yufta. So then yes, it slugs up Shmuel. So Amalei Rabbi Yosef Lavaya, Rabbah Mika Avi Kishmaitza the Rav. Did Rabbah do like Rav? Amalei Lo Yadaina. I don't know. Mighty Boylos. The Gemara says, what's your question? Pshita. We had this also before. It's Pasha Delay Ovid. It's Pasha didn't do like Rav. The Ha'itaisev, because he was slugged up. We slugged him up. So the Gemara answers are Dilma Shmiele. Maybe he didn't hear that he got this proven. And if he didn't hear this, he for sure would do it. Everything, Abaya said everything, Rabbah did everything like Rav, except for these three things that he did like Shmuel, which was Matilim and Beged Beged, which we had this on Daf Chof Beis almost 18 blot ago, that you're allowed to put tzitzis from one Beged to another Beged, and you're allowed to light from one candle to another candle. And the halach is like Reb Shimon, but dragging a bench on the floor. Okay, so Gemara answers, "Kechumrei derav Ovid, kekuli derav le'ovid." When Rav was machmer, that he did like that. Like when Rav is makel, that you can wash the whole body limb by limb, that he wasn't necessarily he did not necessarily do. Okay, so Tana Rabbanon, what are we going to? 5 more minutes. Okay, so Tana Rabbanon, Merchat Shepakahu Nakava Me'er Shabbos. So if you have a bathhouse that you stuffed up its the hole that the water flows out of, right? Me'er Shabbos, the Motzei Shabbos, Reichitz by Miyad. So like this, Motzei Shabbos, you can use that water right away because even though it's stuffed up. What?
Is that with the 3x3 beged?
Yeah, very good, Harris. Anyway, talking about merchats shapagu nekava me'er Shabbos, the merchats that you plugged up the holes on Erev Shabbos. The Motzei Shabbos reichitz by miyad. The Motzei Shabbos you can use it right away to wash. Pakaku nekava me'erev Yom Tif. If you stuffed up the holes Erev Yom Tif, lemachar nichnas amazia. The next day on Yom Tif, you can go in there umazia and you can just sweat. You can't use it to wash, but since it gets very hot, since they plugged up the hole. So you can go in there and sweat v'yaitza, and then you can go out and mishtatif v'beis achitzin, and then you could wash yourself off in outside where it's not hot water, right? Again, because you plugged it up before Yom Tov. Amar Rav Yehuda Ma'asav B'merchot Shel Bnei Brak. There was a story. This is very interesting, right? So what's the story of Bnei Brak? I hope that's who was it? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Kiva. Here too, they went to the bathhouse in Bnei Brak. Amar Rav Yehuda. Ma'asav B'merchot Shel Bnei Brak. Shepagu nekava me'erev Yom Tov l'machar nichnas Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Kiva. And they sweated themselves up, and they went out and they washed in the outer room, right? But the hot water there was covered over with boards. They covered over the hot water with boards. When it came in front of Chachamim, you can even go into the bathhouse to sweat up on Yom Tov, even if it's not covered by wood boards. Here, Simon, this is what we were discussing yesterday. And when the isurei avera, they became isurei avera, hischilu lesar ambatia shel krachim. They assured bathhouses of the cities. But then they still allowed you to at least take a shortcut and walk through the bathhouse, and they weren't chashish that you were going into the sweat. My isurei avera, what does it mean isurei avera? Amar Rav Shimon ben Pazi, Amar Rav Shmuel ben Levi. In the beginning, they allowed people to take showers with hot water that was heated up before Shabbos. So then the balonim, the bathhouse attendants, were heating up the water on Shabbos. When they lied and they said it was heated up before Shabbos. So assur chamin. So then they assur chamin. That's really the only reason why the Chachamim said it's assur to take a hot shower, is because of these guys who lied. Yeah. But they allow people to do zayah, but still they what they did is people would go into the bathhouse, they would sweat, and they would take a shower with the hot water, and then they would say, oh, we're just sweating, we didn't really shower, and they would wash with hot water, and they would say we sweated. So then they asked you even to go in to sweat. And what they did allow was going to chamei tferia, which was natural. Nobody heated that up. And then the problem was that they still were using regular heated up water. So also then chamei tferia. And then they asked chamei tferia, and they only allowed you to take cold showers. But then they saw that people were not listening. So then they backed off a little. They allowed chamei tferia, right? V'zeya, the mekayim medicine. They allowed zeya, right?
How did they allow it? You're still being nene from the water, from something being heated up, regardless.
No, they only allowed chamei tferia. That's it.
No, for the zeya, for the steam house, steam whatever.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and taking a hot shower? You're still benefiting from that heating up on Yom Tov and Shabbos.
No, so it was only a gzeira. It was only a gzeira. Yeah.
It was assur there.
So they assur there, then they backed off. Anyways, the point is, this is what point I wanted to get to, right?
Yaakov, Rashi seems to imply it's assur.
What's assur?
They left it in place. They kept Zayah assur.
What?
Rashi says
I'm sorry. Yeah, they only asked. They matter chamei tferia and they kept Zayah in place. Right? I'm sorry. Right. So this is what I want to tell you. This is what it's maybe it's a little late for this, but maybe. So basically, we didn't get into the full discussion yet. But basically, what about hot water that was heated up before Yom Tif? Are you allowed to go in it? Right?
Like it looks like I'm about to.
Yeah, me too. So the bottom line is so can you go in there on Yom Tif or not? So Me'ikar Adin, you're not allowed to. However, Rabbi Kiva Eger and the Bir Halacha brings this. He says if somebody's mitzvah on Yom Tif, since the whole thing is a gezerah, the gezerah did not apply to somebody that's in pain. So if somebody's in pain, he says not sick, you don't have to be sick. He says somebody that's in pain is allowed to wash themselves full body with hot water that was heated up before Yom Tif. Now, how do you get hot water that's heated up before Yom Tif, right? If now the way hot water heaters work is that when you take out the hot water, you're replacing it with cold water, it gets cool, right?
Can you
so
hear me?
What happens if you shut off the hot water right now? Yeah? Let's say you shut off the hot water tank right now. Okay? And you let in, again, Rabbi Kiva Eger says you're not allowed to do it with hot water, you're allowed to do it with warm water. Warm water, right? So if you shut off your hot water tank now, turn on the hot water to let in some cold water. Let's say you have a 75-gallon tank, you let in 2 gallons of hot water, so that will cool off the water and makes it warm. And then tonight you don't need a shower, let's say, but tomorrow, by then, the water will not be hot. Then if you're mitzvah, you can wash with hot water. I don't see any reason not to, unless if you're mitzvah, I don't see any reason not to, because it was heated up before Yom Tif, and the new water coming in is not getting heated up, right? But the point is all these things.
Why can't you do Aver without unplugging it? You're
Aver is not simple that you could do. Aver is not so simple with water that gets heated up on Yom Tif. You're using water that gets heated up on Yom Tif if you turn on the hot water.
Right.
So right, that's Aver. We're talking about before Yom Tif.
And hands and feet you can do, right?
Hands and feet you could do, yeah. Now you're allowed to heat up water on.
But why doesn't this all fall under grandma? I don't understand.
What?
Why doesn't this all fall under grandma anyway?
No, they made gezer. That's the point. The point is that's what's very important to understand. The bottom of the summer that we just learned, they're all gezeras because of these jerks who lied and said that they heated up stuff before Shabbos, right?
But even if it wasn't heated up, let's say Yom Tif, right?
He's going on Shabbos too. He's going on
Shabbos. When you call for hot water, it's not automatically calling for hot water. So why isn't always grandma not a problem to begin with?
What do you mean? For what?
For a shower on Shabbos. When you put a hot water on Shabbos in a shower, you're not calling for hot water right away.
Yes, you are.
Why?
The second that hot water leaves the tank, it's being replaced by cold water.
And it gets heated up right away?
Sure. What?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Tiago, your father.
Yes, I'm busy with this plasma. I'm trying to figure it all out.
Tiago, your father. Hello. Did
anybody hear me?
Hold on a second, Shmuel. What?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm busy with my son.
You just got to talk.
Wow, I just want to mention, Shmuley, nice to see you in person, Shmuley.
No, I'll tell you what every child told me 25 years ago.
They have this soccer of Yisrael rising. Hold on, I'm looking at it.
But the plasma is more important, definitely.
He said he spoke to Reb David Feinstein. And the infectious disease guys, and he said, You
so how do they get to the hospital to donate?
Yom Tif, you could. He says you could drive.
I'm gonna look for the actual paper I saw.
I have this email from him.
What do you mean you could drive? I could get in my car and drive to the hospital.
Yom Tif to drive is the derabanan. So
can you take a screenshot? Can you take a screenshot and post it on the Daf group?
Yeah.
Okay, let me call someone.
All right, call me back. I mean, it's an email from Esther Reisman, right? That's his wife.
Yeah, hello.
Fine, let me know. I'm posting it now on the chat. Anyways, to drive on Yom Tif, by the way, is a derabanan, not a deraisa.
You remember when somebody asked his father, you know who asked his father if he could take the train, or sharing Yom Tif because he's just carrying?
Yeah, remember that?
Yep. And then your father told me that you could take a shower in Yontif. I was there with Dove and with a little bit of hot water. You put a little bit just to take the cold.
That was the maskana that you came up with on Shmuel several years ago. That you could take a shower, but you could take the edge off of that cold water.
Told me that. Told me, I tell you, 15 years ago.
Shmuley, he used to give you special socks, okay?
That's why I'm not sure if what I can really.
Oh, what did you post, Shmuley? The gehinnom is a place. I hear. Okay. Hold on. The Daf. What do you want me to post it? I think I might have to shut off my hot water and take a shower. That's what it looks like it's going to be.
Hello, I missed everything because my mother called in, but.
Oh.
But I remember your father said clearly we could just put a little hot water. Maybe we pushed a little bit. I'm not sure. I mean, we probably did, but.
I'm sure. My father was very anti-showering.
I know, and he told me.
Ami, we left off at the bottom line of Mem Amud Aleph.
We could take a yontif and put a little bit of hot to take off the cold.
What did we decide?
Yeah.
What did we decide? 10:15?
I got to come.
You know what? Let's try for 10:15, and if the Olam can't do it, we'll just whatever.
All right.
Yontif.
No?
All right,
everybody.
Yontif, everybody. Don't forget to count zero.
Good job.
Thank you very much.